In the Buddha's time, in the city of Savatthi, there was a very poor young girl. She was very thin and haggard, and was called Kisa Gotami, or Haggard Gotami. Because she was poor and unattractive, she was unable to find a husband, and this caused her to be depressed. One day, a rich merchant chose her to be his wife. He was able to see through her rough exterior and see her inner worth. However, unlike the merchant, the other members of his family were not able to overlook her poverty, appearance, or family background. Kisa Gotami did her best to be the ideal Indian wife. She served her husband first, ate after he ate, slept after he slept, and woke before he woke. Even so, the other family members still despised her and treated her poorly. This was a source of great stress and unhappiness for Kisa Gotami. When she gave birth to a baby boy, everything changed for her. Her husband's whole family doted on her and accepted her as the mother of their future heir. Kisa Gotami felt immense relief and felt as if a great burden had been lifted. She allowed herself to hope that this would last forever and that her happiness would only grow. She was especially attached to her son, since he was the source and guarantee of her marital bliss, familial bliss, and her peace of mind. So when her little son suddenly fell ill, she became anxious and fearful. She did whatever she could to help him. But it wasn't enough. Her son died in her arms, and this was just too much for her to bear. Fear and paranoia began to creep into her thoughts. Slowly but surely, she started imagining various scenarios, which all ended with her being despised and shunned. "She is cursed," they would say. "She must have great evil karma. She is not worthy to mother a son." She even feared that her husband would reject her for a better wife. These thoughts overwhelmed her, and she refused to accept that her baby was dead. "He's not dead. He's not. He's just sick. Yes, that's it. He's just sick. I have to find him medicine. No one understands. I am his mother. I must save him." And with this, she ran out of the house with a dead baby in her arms, determined to find a medicine to cure his illness. She rapped on the door of the first house she came across, and when it opened, she said, "Please, sir, you must help me. My baby needs medicine." When he took a look at the baby, he said, "Ma'am, your baby is dead. There's no medicine for death." Kisa Gotami refused to accept this and went to another house. "Please, ma'am, please give me medicine for my baby. He's so sick," she repeated at the next house, only to again hear, "That baby's not sick, it's dead." Many people scorned and mocked her, but she finally came to a house of a wise and kind man who recognized that her grief had made her mentally ill. He said, "Ma'am, I know that I have no medicine that can fix what ails your baby. Not many doctors will. However, if anyone in the entire world could help, it would be the Buddha. Only he knows if there is a remedy for your child." Kisa Gotami immediately took off and went to the Buddha's temple at Jetavana. With the child's corpse in her arms, she implored the Buddha, "Sir, great sir, please give me medicine for my child. He is so sick. He needs help. Please help him." The Buddha replied that he knew of a medicine, but she would have to procure it herself. Eagerly, she asked what it could be. The Buddha then said, "Mustard seeds." Everyone in the room was shocked at the master's reply. She asked where she would have to go to get these mustard seeds. The Buddha replied that she merely had to get a small amount from any house where no one had ever died. She trusted him and thanked him profusely. She then set off to find the medicine that would save her baby. At the first house, Kisa Gotami asked, "Ma'am, do you have any mustard seeds?" "Of course we do. How many do you need?" "Only a few. Could you spare some for me?" "Of course. Wait here. I'll bring them for you." When the lady brought back the mustard seeds, Kisa Gotami felt immense hope. She smiled when the seeds were in her hands, and she turned to leave. However, she remembered the master's words, so she turned back and asked, "Ma'am, excuse me, but has anyone ever died in this house?" "How did you know?" "We're holding services for my mother who just passed away a few days ago." Kisa Gotami felt all hope leave her like air from a deflating balloon. She handed the kind woman back her mustard seeds and said, "I'm sorry, I can't use these." And then she continued on to the next house. At the next house, Kisa Gotami asked if anyone in the house had ever died. "Ah, yes, my grandmother died 5 years ago." At the next house, she asked, "Has anyone in this house ever died?" The young man answered, "My daughter died just 5 months ago." At the next house, she asked the same question. The sisters who opened the door told Kisa Gotami about their father, who had passed away a year ago. At the next house, Kisa Gotami asked again, "Has anyone in this house ever died?" A man answered, his voice full of sorrow, "Both my mother and young baby died recently." Kisa Gotami could not find a single home where nobody had ever died. Many people told her, "The dead are more numerous than the living." After knocking on countless doors, all of which were affected by death and loss, Kisa Gotami began to realize that she was not alone. Death was a common human fate. In fact, she realized that it was the fate of all living beings. No one could tell her or make her understand. Only her own experience of going door to door could make this clear to her. She understood the law of impermanence and that death would always come as the dancing partner to life. In this way, the Buddha was able to heal Kisa Gotami of her obsession and delusion. She finally accepted the reality that her child was gone, and nothing would or could bring him back. She fully understood that death was the destiny of all beings. Anyone who refused to accept this would only bring suffering to themselves. After burying her baby, Kisa Gotami returned to the Buddha. The Buddha asked her if she had gotten her mustard seeds. Kisa Gotami answered, "Venerable Master, Venerable Sir, done is the business of the mustard seeds. All I need now is for you to grant me refuge." The Buddha then spoke this verse to her. "When a person's mind is deeply attached, infatuated with sons and cattle, death grabs them and carries them away, as a flood does a sleeping village." Throughout her quest to find mustard seeds, Kisa Gotami's thinking matured, and this verse was all that was needed to help her undo her attachments to her body and physical things. She became a Sotapanna, a stream enterer. She then asked for admission into the convent of Bhikkhunis, the order of nuns, and this was granted to her. She practiced diligently, and one day, while contemplating the restless flame of her oil lamp, her mind became still, and the Buddha taught her another verse. Though one should live 100 years, not seeing the Nibbana, yet better it is to live for a single day, seeing Nibbana. After she heard these words, she shed all remaining attachments and became an Arahant, a fully liberated one.
What do you think the moral of this story is?
We hope you enjoyed the video. Click like if you did, and click subscribe if you want to see our uploads.